Dubai, Singapore, Qatar are all wealthy nations, but this one stands out as truly extraordinary. This micro-state, located on the shore of the French Riviera that is around 4 kilometers long and half a kilometer wide, is the richest country in the world. But there is a proper system that has made it a haven for millionaires. And that system is built on secret strategies and well-executed plans that any country can apply to become the next dreamy destination for the most expensive average home price in the world, the docking of some of the world's most luxurious yachts, and the iconic F1 Monaco Grand Prix. Everywhere you look here, you feel like you're in a James Bond film. So why do all billionaires flock to Monaco? Why is 1 in every 3 residents considered a millionaire? And why is it that simply obtaining residency requires a minimum of $500,000 in the bank? What tax advantages make this tiny nation so irresistible right now? So, what is the real situation with Monaco's economy? Most people associate it with a playground for the wealthy and famous, a parking garage for super yachts, a glorified Formula One track, a country centered around a casino, and most of all, a tax haven. Monaco has always attracted high-end clients coming throughout its history. While it does impose corporate taxes, there are no income taxes. To become a resident, there are typically 3 main routes. You must either deposit at least $500,000 into a local bank, work for a Monaco-based company, or operate your own business within the country. Meeting just one of these criteria qualifies you to apply for residency. A tax haven is a country or jurisdiction with extremely lax tax and financial privacy regulations. Countries that come to mind include the British Virgin Islands, Panama, Bermuda, the Cayman Islands, and of course, Monaco. But is this actually fair? A closer look at this reveals that Monaco does not actually belong on this list. A popular myth is that Monaco does not need to tax its citizens because the tiny country generates all of its revenue from its famous casino. While the casino contributes to Monaco's government budget, it only makes up about 3% of total annual revenue. Despite its small size, Monaco offers a wide range of premium public services, including the highest police presence per capita in the world. The country also features efficient public transportation, a reliable medical system, and all the infrastructure you'd expect from a highly developed nation. And keep in mind, this is being delivered in what is often considered the most expensive country on earth. The Monte Carlo casino brings in a lot of revenue, but not nearly enough to fully fund these services on its own. The casino is well known for its historic beauty. Designed by Charles Garnier, the casino was constructed in 1863 and offers a wide variety of table games. Certainly, it is one of the most comfy and classy casinos known in the world. It houses 5 gaming rooms, 35 tables, and 316 slots. It has a theater for opera and ballet concerts, restaurant and garden. It also hosts Trente et Quarante, Baccarat, blackjack and craps. The truth is, Monaco has taxes, but only the right kind of taxes. The Monaco government earns the majority of its revenue from a 19.6% value-added tax, or VAT, also known as goods and services tax. This is one of the world's highest rates for this type of tax. This is a tax imposed on the purchase price of goods and services in a country. If you buy a pair of shoes in Monaco for 10,000 euros, which is frighteningly easy to achieve, you will really spend 11,690 euros after this tax. This seems to contradict popular perceptions of what Monaco represents. Millionaires and billionaires from over the world pay exorbitant prices for tiny flats in this country, all in exchange for the ability to avoid paying taxes. Why would they do that, given that this country has one of the highest VAT charges in the world? Actually, most countries use a progressive taxation mechanism to collect income taxes. This means that when you earn more money, you'll be taxed at a greater and higher rate for each additional dollar earned. The inverse of this is a regressive tax regime. This is a system in which the lower your income, the more tax you pay. A VAT tax is essentially a regressive tax system. Now I get what you're thinking, it's dumb. A VAT tax is often a predetermined percentage, regardless of who you are. And while this is correct, allow me to explain. Consider 2 families. One earns $100,000 per year in household income, while the second earns $1 million per year. Now, the ordinary household earning $100,000 per year is likely to spend around $50,000 on living expenses such as groceries, gas, school fees, insurance, and energy bills. All of these goods are subject to the VAT tax. Now, the million-dollar household is likely to spend significantly more on this expensive living. They're likely to eat at finer restaurants, attend more expensive schools, live in larger homes with greater utility expenses, and pursue more expensive hobbies. To keep things easy, let us assume that this type of home has a living expense budget of roughly $200,000 per year, which is incredibly extravagant but somewhat reasonable for this type of family. This indicates that if we use Monaco's VAT tax rate, Family 1 will pay $8,450 in VAT taxes, which is around 8.5% of their gross annual income. Family 2 will pay $33,800 in VAT taxes, which is significantly more in absolute terms, but only accounts for 3.4% of the family's total income. Obviously, this is an extreme example, yet this problem is widespread over the world. Poorer households do pay a bigger proportion of their total income to these types of taxes, in contrast to income taxes, which are levied at higher rates on wealthier households. Monaco's average inhabitant is now quite wealthy. Thus, this type of VAT tax is perfectly acceptable to them. An extra few $1,000s on top of the purchase price of their new supercar is a minor price to pay for the millions of dollars in income taxes that Monaco residents do not have to pay. Another significant advantage of Monaco's taxation is that it may be collected on the large tourist population that visits the country all year. Monaco attracts approximately 9 tourists for every 1 resident of the country each year. This figure is only surpassed by Vatican City, and income tax will be ineffective in producing revenue for the Monegasque government because tourists do not earn money in the nation they visit. But they do spend money, and each time they do, they must pay the VAT tax on that expenditure. In any given year, non-citizens of Monaco accounted for more than half of total VAT tax collection. The other significant difference between Monaco and other problematic offshore tax havens is that unlike the other jurisdictions that are fairly classified as offshore tax havens, Monaco does not provide so-called offshore financial services. Nor does Monegasque law prohibit or assist the registration of offshore corporations seeking to avoid paying taxes in their home countries. This implies that many of the shell games that the world's elite engage in with corporations, trust structures, and banking privacy regulations are simply not authorized to occur in Monaco. And one thing more is that Monaco is tiny. There are only 9 little districts, one of which is Monte Carlo, which everyone knows, that make up this tiny country called Monaco, which is located on the southeastern tip of France. Most people who work in Monaco come from Italy, where they get much better tax treatment, or from France, but Monaco is 81 square miles. It's smaller than New York's Central Park and roughly the same size as Hyde Park in London. It's the second smallest country in the world, just after the Vatican. Despite its size, Monaco is home to 9 main industries, with the famous Golden Square at its economic heart, one of the most expensive districts on Earth. Monte Carlo surrounds this square, and throughout the country you'll find an exotic garden tucked into nearly every corner. From business meetings to exotic tourist attractions, it all accounts for the majority of commercial activities. Hotels, restaurants, shops, gambling, and services related to Monaco's port provide both employment and revenue for the principality. Monaco is influenced by the country's usual blending of roles as an international tax haven, exclusive resort destination, in combination with the Monegasque traditions. Despite its high cost, this country is nevertheless extremely attractive and distinctive. So whether you can afford a hotel here or want to take a 20-minute train ride from France, this country has a lot to offer and a lot to learn from.